Moving on to John McGarry of WebWorks. John is going to speak on the Facebook Pixel, the key to Facebook marketing success. What is it and why should every website have it installed? John and his wife Maria have been running webworks.ie for 14 years. John's focus is helping companies generate leads using Facebook ads and also through LinkedIn marketing campaigns. John's a certified sales consultant for linked selling. Webworks.ie has been running Facebook campaigns for 3 years and for clients in Ireland, UK and Canada. Webworks provide Facebook ad management services and also Facebook marketing.
Good afternoon everybody, I'm delighted to be here today. So I'm here to talk about the Facebook Pixel, and really what that is, it's really in relation to Facebook ads. So this is to help you, if you're running ads using Facebook, how you can get the best bang for your bucks. And really what the Facebook Pixel does, it allows you to, really what we're talking about here is target the right people, to ensure that when you run an ad, it's in front of the right people. And the principle behind it being, your ad, if you're not talking to the right people, it doesn't really matter how good your offer is. You know, if you're talking to the wrong people, they're just not going to bite. If you're at least talking to the right people, you have a fighting chance of making a sale or getting a conversion. So that's really what we're talking about today, how we can help you achieve that. So that's me, John McGarry, and Profit Per Click. So what is the Facebook Pixel? Well, really, what it really is, simply is a piece of code that if you run Facebook ads, if you go to your ad manager, you can, there's a drop-down column there called Pixel, and in there there's a piece of code that's unique to your ad account. And what you want to do is put that on your website. Now, it needs to go on every page between the head tags at the top. Now that's a little bit technical. It's actually quite simple to do. If you have a website developer or whatever, they'll do it in 2 minutes. But just send them this bit of code. It's in your ad manager account, and get it on every page. And once that's done, you're kind of up and running. And what happens when you've got that installed is that Facebook will start to build lists of the people that visit your website. And again, going back, what we're trying to achieve here is to ensure that your ads are appearing in front of people that have an interest in what you do. And if somebody was on your website through some on or offline advertising you've done already, then it's reasonable to assume that they are interested in what you do. So that's why we want to put these people in lists, because we want to be able to stay in touch with these people. So that's really what we're about here. It's about building these lists of site visitors so we can leverage that, them lists to help our ad campaign later on. Now, when we talk about the Facebook terminology, is Facebook audiences. And when we create a list, it's not like if you might have email lists where you actually have the email address and the name of the person. When you create a Facebook list, you don't have any of their personal details. You basically have a list that you've given a name to. It could be all site visitors, and there's a number attached to it, and that could be 1,000, 10,000, and that number represents the amount of people that are on it. But that's all you know. You have this list, you don't have any personal information, but it's a list you can use for targeting ads. When you create the list, you can decide how long people should stay on it. So the maximum is 180 days. So if you set up a list and say, I want to keep these people on my list for up to 180 days, so 180 days after they first go on that list, they go off it. But you can set the list up for 7 days, 1 day, so anything between 1 and 180. So you can create these lists. That's the kind of dialog box you see in Facebook when you go to create one. And when you have lists created, this is what you see in the back of Facebook. You see the first column is the name, and if you look at the size, that'll tell you how many people are on it. So that's all you know. But you have them and the sources, you can use these as targets for ads. So how would you kind of implement this? The most basic list that everybody creates initially is a kind of an all sites visitor list. So anybody who visits any part of your website, put them on the list. And once you have them on there, and next you're going to run an ad campaign, you've got budget X, you might allocate a certain amount of this budget and say, right, let's target people who are already on our site. And you can see how this would be useful to you. If you've got a new product or service or some more information about your company, and you just want to keep all these people in touch with what's going on, so you can maintain your relationship with them, use this list, and you know that these people are going to see your ad in the Facebook newsfeed. So that's kind of useful, and that's the kind of most basic one that we create. That's the kind of starting point. But you can get, things get better. We have here a bit of representation of a typical site. You can create lists out of people that visit specific page or pages of your site. So let's say, in this example we have here, we've got a small site and you're either selling televisions, computers or kitchen appliances, or if you're in the services, maybe insurance, pensions or mortgages. Now if somebody lands, let's say you're selling a product, and somebody lands on your television page, and we create a list of all the visitors to that page. So when we run ads to that, so unlike the all-site visitors where we're running general information type ads, now if we want to run an ad for our televisions and we want to ensure that that ad is well received, instead we will run that ad to the television list. And we know that these people were on our site. And maybe if we only made that list a 7-day list, we know that they were on our site looking about televisions in the last 7 days. So the chances are they probably haven't made a buying decision yet. They're still in the hunt, and we've now got a chance to run fairly targeted ads at them. Giving them ads about stuff that we know they want to know about. So that's really important. That's really powerful. That you should be looking at your website and all its distinct sections, and understand that different people will visit different parts of your website for different reasons. And if you install this pixel and then start creating these lists, different ones for your different sections, you're starting to treat your audience, not as one big mass, but as distinct groups of people with distinct needs, and you're now in a position to run distinct, kind of focused ads to them. And this is very powerful. Plus it means you're not wasting your money sending, computer ads to somebody that's looking for television. You're saving on you're getting a better conversion rate, and you're stopped wasting money trying to sell something to somebody that he doesn't want. If he was on the television page, he doesn't want to buy a computer. So don't send them ads about the computer. So you can be very targeted. So that they're very powerful. Now, you can do more with these lists. Let's say you've got a lead generation. Let's say you've created a list for all the distinct sections of your site. And let's say you have on your site, you've got a lead generation element. So maybe you've got, register here for 10 tips on, how to do online marketing. And you're driving people to that page, wanting them to register with their email address so you can get a lead. So what you would have done in that scenario, if you've done it, you have a list for the page where you're inviting people to register for this information. But you're also, because normally when you do that, you fill in your name and your email, you hit submit, and you end up with it. Thank you very much for registering. Here's the document, or here's the checklist, or whatever we promised. So you have you have another list for the thank you page. So now what we can do in our advertising is we can say to Facebook, so let's say we can say, we're driving all these people, people don't always take the action that you want first time. Sometimes you like to have another go at it. They need a little bit of convincing to push them over the line. So what we can do here is we can say to Facebook, I want you to run this ad promoting my 10-point checklist to anybody that's on the registration page but who is not on the thank you page. So that allows us, because obviously some people might have registered, we don't want to be targeting them again. So it allows us then to have an ad that's set to run, and it will only kick in if people landed on this page and then left without taking the action that we wanted. And so then you can run an ad, maybe a link to a blog post that explains the first point in your checklist. Look how good this is. If you find this interesting, get yourself back there and register for the full document. There's loads of good stuff in it. And you can have that set up automatically run. So again, it's an ad that's set up to run, that's encouraging people to take a distinct action. It's kind of on the ball with them, they'll understand what it's about, and you get a good return on this, because people don't take the action that you want the first time a lot. So you want to have a second bite at that cherry, and this allows you to do that. And the last thing you want to do is try to sell something to somebody or promote something to somebody that they've already done, they've already registered. You don't want them seeing ads, ask them to register again. You look like a bit of a muppet, you don't know what to do. So in one list but not the other. You can see if you're on a shopping cart site, you have a thank you page and a shopping cart site. So if somebody was on your television page, and they didn't buy, so they didn't end up with a thank you very much for buying the television, you can kind of integrate that and then you can get back at it. So in one list but not the other. So very powerful. These lists, even though we don't know much about these lists, in the sense you've got your, being on your television page, we have 1,000 people on that. We don't know much about them, but these are all Facebook users and they have accounts. Now Facebook knows everything about these people, because when they created their Facebook account, they told Facebook their name, their age, their date of birth, whether they're married, whether they're kids, where they live, their job. They just tell them everything. Everything you do on Facebook gets added to your profile. Absolutely everything. In the US, Facebook is buying information from credit card companies and companies outside of Facebook, and it's added it to the profile. So while we don't know much about the people on the list, Facebook knows everything. It really does. It's staggering. And this is, in the sense that over the years, Facebook has been building this for years, and these algorithms are just getting better and better and better. So Facebook knows loads about the people, its members, and how can we leverage that? Let's go back to the example we talked earlier on about, we want people to register for our lead magnet. We've got this 10 checklist, 10 checklists for successful online marketing. And let's say we're registering people that were on the thank you for registering. So we have a list built up of the people that took the action we wanted them to take. So this is this distinct group of people. So you run a campaign targeting lots of people. And then a small amount of people click on your ad and land on your register page. And then even a small amount of people again actually register. So these are the action takers. These are the people you want more of. These are the ones that are going to add to your bottom line. So you can say to Facebook, Mr. Facebook, will you look at the profile? So I've got a list of 1,000 people, and the more people you have on this list, the better. The more data you can give Facebook. But you can say to Facebook, listen here, Mr. Facebook, I've got 1,000 people on that list. Now, you've got access to their profiles. I want you to look at the profile of them 1,000 people, and then I want you to give me another list of the top 1% of people in Ireland or the UK or the US whose profiles closest match the profiles of my action takers. And Facebook will give you another list. And then you can run ads to that. So you're basically, you're always, when you're running ads, you want to be running to the right people. You want to be getting in front of the right people. And now you're running ads using profiling. And this is incredibly powerful. It works. The more information you can give Facebook to build that profile, the better. But this is a great way of finding new people to run ads at. If you run the top 1% in Ireland, we give you a list of 34,000 people. The smallest of that list can be, the source for your they're called lookalike lists. The smallest of that list can be, the source list is 100 users. And Facebook will create a list of 34,000 people in Ireland. If it's in the UK, about 500,000, and if it's in America, about 2 million. Now obviously it's better if you like 1,000 or a couple of thousand on that thank you list. Facebook has more data to work with, and so the lookalike list that it gives you to target will be more accurate. But it's a great way to leverage the power of Facebook's profile to give you new people to target. And that's a great way, because sometimes you'll exhaust the normal interest targeting that Facebook offers you. So this is a great way to find new people to target that are that hopefully can be turned into customers. And we have great success with that. So Facebook lookalike audiences, profiling, was the kind of stuff with the FBI, now it's available to anybody who has the Facebook Pixel installed. Because none of this stuff is possible without the Facebook Pixel. Now, you can check on your own site, for the Chrome browser, if you use Chrome, there's an extension you can get called the Facebook Pixel Helper. You can install it in your Chrome browser, and when you install that in your Chrome browser, as you go from website to website, it will flag if this thing is set up, if it's tagging from Facebook's point of view, and it'll tell you if it's done properly. So if you're doing this on your own website, this will tell you whether, if you've got some developer doing it, this will tell you whether it's set up correctly, but you can also use it to spy in the competition. Because, obviously, with this, if you don't have the Facebook Pixel installed, you can't do any of this stuff. You can't create any of these lists, you can't create the lookalike audiences, you can't do all this very focused targeting. So you can check your competitors, are they doing it? And if they're not, you have an opportunity here, because if you do this right, you can get to your people, you can get to your target audience better than they can, and you've got an opportunity to see the march in them. And it's staggering the amount of people that don't have this installed. Like, I do a good bit of work with dentists in the UK, and from a marketing point of view, dentists are good clients for us because they charge you a lot of money for the services, and it kind of allows us to charge them a few quid too for our service. And I did this, and 87% of dentists, checked nearly 300 sites in the UK, and 87% of them didn't have the Facebook's Pixel installed. So they're sitting there every day going boost post, boost post, boost post, and they call that Facebook marketing. That's in the halfpenny place compared to what you can be doing. Or whatnot. So if you go to our site, that's probably the longest URL you're going to see here today, that will teach you webworks.ie, how to check if the Facebook Pixel is installed correctly on your website. That will tell you how to put in this Facebook Pixel Helper, so you can check your own website and check the competition to see if they're running the Facebook Pixel. Even if you don't run Facebook ads, install it, because until it's installed, it won't start building the data. So it doesn't cost you anything to install it. Get it installed, look at your site, think of the distinct groups, create all the lists, and just let the data build. Because I said, you can keep something on the list for 180 days and whatnot. So if you install it today, it'll be 180 days before it's fully, you've got all the information that you could possibly have. So get it installed. And it also allows you to track, once you've got that in there, it allows you to track people across device. Because somebody might come onto your website on a mobile device, but because this is associated with their Facebook account, the next time they're on their PC, we can still track them and whatnot. So it's not tied to the device. So that's what you have there, the Facebook Pixel. Get it installed and start running the Facebook ads properly. Thank you very much.